The leader of the Economic Freedom Fighters, Julius Malema, is scheduled to address the party's supporters in Gauteng tonight. Let's get more details now as we cross live to SABC News Political Reporter, Samkele Maseko. Samkele, good afternoon to you. And this is just days after Floyd Shivambu left the party as its deputy president. Let's talk about what's expected tonight.
Well, Bongi, what's expected tonight is that the leader of the EFF has called all branch chairpersons, branch secretaries of the branches of the EFF within the province of Gauteng, essentially to address them on the current contemporary politics that the EFF is facing within the country with the departure of its Deputy President Floyd Shivambu, who was a member of the Johannesburg branch, Ward 44 of the EFF, deciding not to renew his membership. But I'm going to speak now to Nkululeko Dunga, who is the provincial chairperson of the EFF in Gauteng. Mr. Dunga, just the essence of this particular event, what is it meant to do? What is the leader of the EFF going to be speaking on essentially tonight?
No, thank you. Well, the essence of this meeting will be felt and heard when the Commander-in-Chief gives his address. But obviously, it's not the first time that we have had a meeting of such a nature. You would have, if you follow the EFF, you would have noted that prior to the national shutdown, we're at this venue where the Commander-in-Chief had engaged the ground forces of the EFF. Just prior to the elections, we also had one of those sittings where the Commander-in-Chief would have given us a message towards the elections. And right after elections as well, we're having yet another meeting where in one of the things is also to introduce the leadership of the EFF that has been redeployed to Gauteng, and to also just give assurance to the structures of the EFF and to assess the status of readiness as we prepare for the National People's Assembly in December.
Looking at the departure of Mr. Floyd Shivambu as your deputy president, he was your member here in this province of Gauteng. You are the provincial chairperson. Did you have any indication that your deputy president, who was a member at Ward 44, would be leaving the party and not renewing his membership as the provincial chair? One would assume he'd extend a call to you and to Mushanko Omo as well, the provincial secretary.
No, we did not receive such. He obviously, upon the reading of the letter of resignation, directed that to the Commander-in-Chief because he was his deputy. So we didn't receive any of that. However, the branch Ward 44 in the city of Johannesburg remains a branch in good standing, extremely active. They will be here today, and they've renewed and also recruited new membership of the Economic Freedom Fighters. So really there is no crisis. We're cruising nicely.
How are you cruising nicely with the departure of one person who was seen as the brains thrust of the EFF, pretty much seen as a think tank and intellect within this organization?
It will be ill-informed to have such a view because then you would then attribute everyone else as brainless. In the Economic Freedom Fighters, we have a bunch of leaders and members of the EFF, by the way, who are extremely critical, not only in thinking, but in also action. Led by the Commander-in-Chief. The EFF has in excess of over 1 million members. In Gauteng, we have about 250,000 of those membership coming right out of Gauteng. And he's one of founding members who left the EFF. There are many others who are founding and have went on to ply their trade elsewhere, without a lack of a better word and a phrase. And we can only wish him well, and the show must go on.
As provincial chairpersons, you had come together and resolved, don't ask me where I get the information, as resolved that you would be bringing back the current leadership of the top six as they are: the president, the deputy president, before his announcement of his departure, the Secretary General Marshal Dlamini, and looking at some sort of reconfiguration around the other positions of DSG, National Tier, and TG. Was he informed of these particular engagements that you have had as provincial chairpersons leading up to the NPA?
There is stability in terms of the leadership question in the EFF led by the Commander-in-Chief. This ship is extremely stable. That's one. But the second most fundamental point is that we had not gone on to an engagement in terms of the leadership question because we're in essence just in preparation for that process. It's a process that is led by branches of the EFF and not what would have constituted as the Premier League in the ANC back in the days, But so that's just it. We are more obsessed about the preparation of the structures of the EFF, and the guidelines that have come out have given us an indication in terms of the dates and the timeframes that we need to meet. We've just gone through a process where there was a deadline in terms of recruitment and renewal for the branches, and we're just waiting from the Secretary General to give us the go-ahead to now start doing the process of branch People's Assembly and branch General Assemblies to elect delegates towards the conference. And those are the platforms that engage on the leadership question and what must happen.
So you guys don't have a chairperson's league?
There's no such a thing. We have fighters, we have commissars who engage in critical thinking outside of the person that you say was the brains behind the EFF, you know. So there are genuine brains that have day-to-day discussions, and there are no structures such as the Chairperson's Premier League or something of that nature. There are provincial command teams, the regional command team structures, as well as branch command team structures outside of the central command team led by the ever-reliable Commander-in-Chief and #1 ground force of the EFF, Commander-in-Chief Julius Malema.
Who are you going to push as Deputy President since the departure of Floyd?
Well, led by the Commander-in-Chief and the collective. So with that being said, we remain intact.
So you're not pushing a particular name for DP?
The branches of the EFF will decide at the NPA. It's not for me to pronounce.
Your other member, Mwiseni Ndlozi, is being touted here in Gauteng, and is a member here in Gauteng. Is being touted for SG or DP. Are you in favor or support?
I'm a member of the EFF in Gauteng. We have not sensed that, but I mean, he's got qualities of leadership. That's why he's in the central command team, and equally as well, the current Secretary General. You know, he's a true engine of the economic freedom fighters and has steered the ship administratively towards calm seas, and we appreciate his leadership, and we salute him for that.
Despite you going through rough seas at the moment, it's really not smooth sailing.
Well, things are calm. You will see for yourself the branches of the EFF are here. They are going to reaffirm their position in terms of the struggle that we have taken for economic emancipation of the people of Gauteng. And if there is no greater stability or a show of stability than this, then I don't know what is.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nkululeko Dunga. Have you called Floyd Shivambu, by the way, since his departure?
No, I have not. In as much as I've not called any single member of any other party outside of the economic freedom fighters, outside of obviously occasionally engaging with the Premier of Gauteng for service delivery issues or the mayors and stuff like that. No.
Have you blocked him on WhatsApp?
I've not yet. But I think I should.
Okay, that is Nkululeko Dunga, who is essentially saying that the leader of the EFF will speak to the ground forces and that they are heading towards calmer seas now after the storm of the resignation of Mr. Floyd Shivambu.
All right, Samkele Maseko, my colleague, and of course we will be bringing you this particular address as soon as it gets underway, but also just monitoring developments there through Samkele's eyes, of course.